You own a bungalow in Toronto. You love the street, love the school, love the neighborhood. What you do not love is that you have outgrown the house. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a layout that made sense before the kids arrived or before you started working from home. You have 2 options: move and pay $80,000 to $150,000 in land transfer tax, real estate commissions, and moving costs before you have bought a single thing, or build up. A second-story addition takes your existing bungalow and adds a full floor above it. New bedrooms, new bathrooms, new square footage, on the same lot, in the same neighborhood, without any of the transaction costs of moving. After 20 years of building in Toronto, it is one of the projects we recommend most confidently. Here is everything you need to know. Not every bungalow is a straightforward second-story candidate. The first thing we assess is the foundation and existing structure. The foundation needs to be capable of carrying the additional load. Most Toronto bungalows built after the 1940s are fine, but we always verify with a structural engineer before any design work starts. The second question is the existing roof structure. A standard gable or hip roof typically gets removed and rebuilt to accommodate the new floor. This is not a complication, it is standard practice for this type of project. But it does mean the entire top of the home is exposed during construction, which affects how we sequence and protect the site. The third variable: do you want to stay in the home during construction? For a second-story addition, we strongly recommend a temporary rental for the primary construction phase, typically 6 to 8 weeks while the roof is off and the new floor is being framed. After that, the home is livable again while finishing work continues. A second-story addition typically adds 800 to 1,400 square feet of livable space, depending on the footprint of the bungalow below. The most common configuration: a primary suite with walk-in closet and ensuite, 2 or 3 additional bedrooms, and a shared bathroom. The staircase is a design decision that most clients underestimate. Where it lands on the main floor, how much space it takes, how it feels to use. These are spatial decisions that should be made in the design phase, not figured out during framing. We spend real time on staircase design because it determines how the whole home flows. The main floor typically gets some work too. At minimum, the ceiling gets rebuilt as a proper flat ceiling with pot lights, and the mechanical systems get upgraded to serve the new floor. In most cases, we also use the project as an opportunity to improve the main floor kitchen and living spaces while everything is open. Every second-story addition in Toronto requires a building permit. The permit application requires architectural drawings showing the new floor plan, structural drawings signed by an engineer, and in some cases a zoning review if the addition affects lot coverage or height limits. Our permit applications for second-story additions typically come back in 4 to 6 weeks. Total project timeline from design start to completion: 6 to 9 months. Design phase: 6 to 10 weeks. Permit review: 4 to 6 weeks. These run concurrently. We submit for permit while design is being finalized. Construction: 4 to 6 months on site, depending on scope and finish level. If you start the design conversation in January, you are typically in your new home by September or October. Cost for a second-story addition in Toronto currently: a standard addition, new floor, primary suite, 2 to 3 additional bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, typically runs $350,000 to $550,000 all in. Higher spec additions with premium finishes, custom millwork throughout, and significant main floor upgrades will run higher: $550,000 to $750,000. A well-executed second-story addition on a Toronto bungalow typically adds between 1.4 and 1.8 times its cost in property value. More importantly, it adds years of quality of life in a neighborhood you already love. The comparison that always lands: a larger home in the same neighborhood costs you $100,000 to $150,000 in transaction costs before you own a single thing. A second-story addition delivers equivalent square footage, no disruption to your neighborhood, and a home designed exactly the way you want it. If you have a bungalow in Toronto and you need more space, a second-story addition is almost certainly worth a serious conversation. The numbers work, the neighborhood stays the same, and the result is a home built exactly for how your family lives. At Norseman, we offer free feasibility reviews for second-story addition projects. We will assess your property, walk through the structural and zoning considerations, and give you a realistic sense of what is possible and what it will cost before you commit to anything. Book at norsemanconstruction.ca. Link in the description.